Joey, 500. Got some goats in the field.
Get ready for a shakedown.
Prepare for a shakedown. We from Philly where they clap like huddles when they break down. Get ready for a shakedown. We underdogs, my guy. Kinda used to all the hate now. Prepare for it, man. Y'all get it. My QB got swag. My wideout is award winning. This fly Eagles fly. Joey and 500. Like and subscribe. Yeah. Here's a quote you can sing back. Shake squad up and don't be a dingbat. It's a shakedown.
Don't you frown.
Shakedown.
Here comes Philly Shakedown.
Let's go.
What is going on, guys? Hope everyone's having a fantastic day. Finally, Philly, we are back. Season 2 of the Philly Shakedown. We're back. We've been gone for a few weeks.
We haven't
talked to each other. Yeah, almost a month. We haven't talked to each other in a while. But, dude, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I feel fantastic. I had COVID during our break, so that was really fun. But I'm back, and it's great to hear the greatest theme song, the greatest intro song on YouTube. The Philly Shakedown podcast is back. We are late once again, thanks to me and this stupid camera. But it's season 2, baby, episode 1. How are you doing?
Yeah. I'm good. There's so much to talk about. Obviously, training camps in a few days. A lot to be excited for. We've been, like we said, we've been gone for a month. We haven't really talked about anything that's really been going on. Maybe here and there, but shout out to if I could find it, and I can't find it. Shout out to Joe Castro from Philly the podcast. He said, my intro song made it to season 2 of the Shakedown. Let's go.
Ain't going nowhere, dude. It ain't going nowhere. We might need to update the highlights, but that shit ain't going anywhere. That I can't tell you how many people tell me all the time, best intro in all of YouTube. I got to keep it. It can't go nowhere.
Yeah, shout out to Joe Castro for that and everything he's done with his channel. Subscribe to his channel if you guys haven't either. But appreciate everybody coming in. Joseph, we got Daz Deals, Jay Koch, we got Jay, we got Jadish Young, A.O. Frost, Colin. What's going on? What's going on, everybody? So training camp in a few days. Now, so far, we've been looking at all the positions and kind of we haven't really talked. So I want to know from you, other than really the starters, what competition from training camp from certain positions are you kind of looking for? What you're going to kind of keep your eye on in this training camp in a few days?
Wow, man, that's a loaded question because there's a lot. There's a lot that I want to see, and of course, in terms of position battles, I think there's some interesting ones. We'll start on the offensive side of the ball. I want to see the running backs. I do want to see if this kid Brooks can develop into a physical back. I still think this is an area in which you need to upgrade, and I still think they need a physical running back. So I want to see if this kid can win the job. I think that the tight end position, you have a wide open battle for the tight end number 2 spot. We don't know who that is going to be. I'm not putting my money on an umbrella man, Mary Poppins. I can tell you that.
Right.
Okay, Stahl, I'm not. Stahl's like a Calcutta or whatever the hell you call him, my paisan. He's probably like a redneck paisan. Like he's like from Oklahoma. I don't know if he's putting ketchup on noodles or what. You know what I mean? Wonder Bread is what they call him. But you know what I'm saying? Like, hopefully he can play tight end. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be the question. And then you have Tyree Jackson coming back from injury. Richard Rodgers, I like, but can he stay healthy? I see him with like very much a problem that you have with Jordan Howard. Can he stay healthy? So I think you have a wide open battle at tight end too. And then as far as the defense goes, I think the linebacking position battle is going to be fascinating. I also think the safety position between Tart and with Anthony Harris is going to be good. And then can anybody become a legitimate returner for this team? That's the question.
Yeah, I think even looking defensively, even with the cornerback position too, because you have a lot of corners, you have a lot of bodies at the position right now. Tay Gown with Jimmy Moreland and some of these other guys like Zach McPherson and Matt McCain and Kerry Vincent Jr. You have so many bodies at that position now. You kind of want to see what you have going into next year, not even just this year. So you're not going to want to put everything on somebody's plate from one of these guys. Since you have Bradbury, Maddox, and Slay. Now, Slay's only on contract till next year, throughout next year, whether the Eagles give him an extension or not. So we could be in the trouble of not having a cornerback. I mean, we need to see what we have. So I don't know what you think about the cornerback spot behind the starters and what you're kind of looking for.
Well, my guess is Jimmy Moreland's going to be your backup slot corner. That's what my guess is, but I don't know for sure. And then we got McPherson, who had a good camp last year, showed some flashes. Can he improve his game? Those are two defensive backs I'm going to be really watching. I think you got to find a way to bring Darius Slay back, to be quite honest with you. I think you gotta try to extend him. I think he can play another 3 years,
Right. Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. Even with Slay, at least if they have a plan next year to bring in another cornerback, or they want to bring in somebody for Slay to be with for a couple more years till that corner becomes the number one guy when Slay leaves, it'd probably be the best idea. So I mean, we'll find out when the time comes. And then obviously when you talked about the linebacker position and who's become the Mike, the Will, and the Sam linebacker, and obviously seeing the Kobe Dean, and I think throughout training camp and throughout the preseason to see how much he has gotten better, the transition to middle linebacker. Theoretically, I think that they're going to have. Edwards, I think they'll have Edwards at the mic for now. And then, Kaiser White at the mic. I think they'll have Edwards at the will. And I think you'll have Hassan Reddick moving from Sam linebacker here and there. I mean, we'll see. I think there is another position we have to look at in regards of training camp. And, it involves the starters. But when it comes to the defensive line, Fletcher Cox is definitely one guy I'm kind of looking at going into this year because, I don't think he's going to be a Philadelphia Eagle after this year. I feel like we're waiting on that Hargrave extension where I feel like he will get extended. But Fletch, has kind of he needs like a big makeup year this year to get pressure. So I don't know how you feel about this defensive line. Maybe Fletcher Cox or somebody that you're really thinking about that really needs to push for production.
Well, I think Fletcher Cox is going to probably be similar to what he's been the last few years. I don't think he's what he was. I think Hargrave will be good. And I think to start at least early in the season, I think Jordan Davis rotates in. My question really, because I think those defensive tackles will be able to play. My question is who's going to give you sacks besides, Hassan Reddick? Can Josh Sweat get me between 8 and 10 sacks? Can Brandon Graham come back and give me between 8 and 10 sacks? If I can get 8 sacks from Graham, 8 sacks from Josh Sweat, 10 plus sacks from Hassan Reddick, I think they're going to be just fine. But I do think it is a question. We may need more depth at the defensive end spot. I do not believe in Derek Barnett for one bit, 1 iota, 1 millimeter, 1 second. Okay, so I have no faith in him whatsoever, except if you need a penalty late in the fourth quarter, I'm sure he's your guy. Yeah,
I think you want to see what maybe Kyron Johnson brings to this defensive line on the edge if he's going to be a backup. Because we were pretty excited when Howie kind of aggressively moved up for him. We kind of saw why. I mean, he's a little undersized as a defensive end, but the guy is a quick first step. He's a 4.38. He's a defensive end / linebacker hybrid. Yeah. So I think he's pretty exciting, and and see what Teron Jackson. I want to see if one of those two can actually beat Derek Barnett. Maybe start opposite of Josh Sweat in that second rotation if that's the case. So it should be exciting. Yeah,
Graham hasn't ever been a high sack guy, but he's been able to get you between 8 and 9 sacks. He's never had 10, but if he can just replicate what he's done in the past, 8 to 9, and then Josh Sweat 8 to 9, and then Hassan Reddick 11, 12. I think you'll be okay.
Yeah, and I think Hassan Reddick being that big factor on the defensive line, especially being on. I mean, you line him up with Javon Hargrave. It's a pretty good. I mean, how are you going to really, how are you going to offensively? How are you going to do a blocking scheme for that? Both guys. I mean, who you going to double team? So it's going to be interesting.
I'm going to give you a prediction right now. First preseason game. Preseason game. Jordan Davis going to make a play early in the game and lay down the wood. Pause. And he's going to let us know he's ready to go. I think Jordan Davis is a guy to watch. If he somehow could get in there and take double teams away from like Hargrave, I think Hargrave could be a 7-8 sack guy, because look what he did early in the season before they switched the double team onto him and off of Fletcher Cox, you know?
Right. We got a super chat from Dave Dust. He said, do you think TJ Edwards keeps his starting spot over Dean for the entire season?
Ooh, that's a great question, and thank you, Dave, but that's a great question, because TJ Edwards, in my opinion, was their best linebacker last year, and I thought he played pretty good. I'm going to say this, though, and this could be because of because I want Nakobe Dean to be the guy. I'm going to say early on, Edwards starts and Dean takes it over later. But I like TJ Edwards. I thought he's gotten better every year. I was a big fan of him.
Oh,
For a few years I've been talking about him. So, but selfishly, because I want Nakobe Dean to be that foundational piece, I hope he takes it over at some point.
Yeah, you want to see some type of flash, or at least he is transitioning really well.
Yeah.
And I mean, beating TJ Edwards is going to be a tough task, but we don't know what we're going to see from Nakobe Dean yet. And hopefully we see something great. Hopefully we see some flashes during these scrimmages, training camp, and obviously, in these preseason games that are going to be pretty important. A lot of these preseason games are going to be pretty important for a lot of these players that we're looking at. So, which gets into my next segment of this is, do you think Howie Roseman is done? Do you think this is the final roster? Like, he's not adding any more pieces? Do you think there's just more that he could do right now?
I am a made man, Dalvin, but I've got to say this. I do not think he's done. I think there's at least 2 moves in camp. Now, and that's not including any injuries that come up that free up spots. I think there are 2 moves yet to be made. Matter of fact, we still have a roster spot available now, don't we? Because we let Craig James go. So we have a spot. And I think you got to look at running back. I still think you need a running back, a power back, a complementary back to Miles Sanders, Ball Scott, and Professor Kenneth Gainwell. I still think you need a complementary piece. Whether that's Jordan Howard, if Jordan Howard can stay healthy, sure. But you need somebody in that mold. So I really think they're going to add a running back. I do. Unless this kid from Oklahoma goes out there and just blows them away,
Yeah, I mean, you have options at running back. Like, you talked about Kareem Hunt a million times in a trade, if that's what you want to do. And then finding out that Latavius Murray is actually still available.
Yeah.
I thought he was still on the Ravens. I mean, he had more of a role with the Ravens. He had a bigger role. He wouldn't have that much because he'd be the number 4 running back. So his role wouldn't be too much wouldn't be on his plate. But a guy averaged over 4 yards a carry last year, over 500 yards, 6 touchdowns. He played really well last year. He's 32 years old. Okay, he's old, but he's very productive. So I don't think it's going to be some mid-tier contract. I mean, it'll be a 1-year deal, something like that. But I think he would fit here very well. This way, you don't have to give up a draft pick for Kareem Hunt or not. And Jordan Howard would be great too. But like you said a million times, every time he gets this neck, shoulder, stinger injury, he's out for weeks and weeks.
For weeks. I mean, that's my issue with Richard Rodgers too. They can't stay healthy, and you can't have just one guy that can do one thing nobody else can do, and then he's out. Latavius Murray had 119 attempts, 501 yards, 6 touchdowns, and a 4.2 average. That's what you need. You don't have to have the flashiest guy in the world. I mean, Kareem Hunt, the reason I like him is because he's 2.8 yards after contact. He gets an average of 2.8 more yards a carry. But they might not want to get rid of him. There's also, I mean, if you want to make a big splash, and I don't know why this guy's name's even being tossed around, but it is. Damian Harris, the running back from the Patriots. Now, you go out and you get Damian Harris. He may be the best running back on your team, let alone, but that would be an extreme situation. I think I think a cheaper signing like a Jordan Howard coming back or Latavius Murray, something like that would make sense. You know what I mean? I mean, Damian Harris had 202 attempts, 929 yards, 15 touchdowns, and averaged 4.6 yards a carry. He'd be your best running back, but he would be, he's 210 pounds, so he'd give you some physicality there. I mean, that's most unlikely scenario probably. Kareem Hunt probably pretty unlikely, but I think, a guy like a Latavius Murray or bringing back Jordan Howard, I think is something that could happen.
Yeah, I mean, I still want to give, Kenny Brooks is definitely getting his shot, and I hope he runs with it. I hope he plays really well. But Damian Harris, that would be a fantastic. I mean, the best player at the running back position right now. I mean, you look at Miles Sanders right now in a contract year. Do you feel that there's a big payday coming his way, and do you think the Eagles will pick that up, come end of this year? Unfortunately,
I don't think they're going to pick it up. I do think he's going to have a big year. I've said I think he's going to have between 1,000 and 1,200 yards. I think he's going to have about 8 or 9 touchdowns because he got none last year. If he could stay healthy, he's going to put up big numbers. I really believe that. But if he puts up big numbers, are they going to pay him? Probably not. I mean, I don't even disagree with that. I think running backs are a lot easier to find than anything else. Unless you get in a special guy like a Derrick Henry or a Barry Sanders in his day, then you got to let him go.
Yeah, no, I'm even getting Kenneth Gainwell in the 5th round. Now, he doesn't have no special running skill set. I think he's a very average runner, but he's got really good vision, makes the first guy miss 9 out of 10 times. And I feel like how they use Kenneth Gainwell is really, I want to use more out of Miles Sanders that way in the passing game, kind of like how Dougie P did in 2019. I want to see him in the passing game. I feel like they're not getting the most out of Miles Sanders. That's how I feel.
Yeah. The question is where's Miles in terms of in Sirianni's grand scheme? Like do they want to push Gainwell to do more to be the number one over Miles or what? Because I mean they really tried to use Gainwell a lot last year, especially in the passing game. And the question to me, that I have to ask is, do they want Gainwell to take that spot over? And will he get more opportunities than Miles Sanders? People can say what they want about Miles, but he still averaged 5.5 yards a carry last year. A carry, So it's going to be interesting because I don't really know where the Eagles are in terms of how they view Miles Sanders.
Right. Whoever timed out Chris Scott, do not do that, Joe. Do not do that. Don't time people out. Let people talk. Let people say what they got to say and be respectful of everybody's opinions. Don't time people out. Don't do that.
I think that probably was an accident. It's got to be an accident, that one.
Hopefully not, because Chris Scott's never, which is weird.
No, but he didn't say anything bad. But I have big fat sausage fingers, dude. I timed somebody out in your stream cooking. I was cooking, watching in last week, and I timed somebody out by accident. So it happens,
Yeah, if it's an accident, it was an accident. All right, Joe.
Philly, do you get into mob stories and stuff? Of course. I watch MobTube all day. I've been watching a lot of Sammy the Bull podcast. It's really good. Yeah, I watched Sammy. Let me tell you something. There's this whole MobTube genre, right? And you've got these people, and they all accuse everybody of being a rat. They're all fighting with each other. I sit back. It's great. It's great stuff. But the thing with Sammy, you got to remember, he's a rat. He ratted out.
Right.
Gotti.
John Gotti.
So you don't know what is embellished and what isn't. He is who he says he was.
Who's the other guy? Michael. Who's the other guy? Michael.
Francese.
Yeah, or Francesa. I forgot his name. The other guy.
Yeah.
No.
He's.
I watch his stuff.
Too.
Yeah,
he's good. His father was big time.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah, leave the canola.
I could talk MobTube all day. Okay.
So we didn't talk about we didn't talk about the whole Derek Gunn comment on Jalen Hurts and the bad OTA practice. Now, I understand like this, if I say anything about the situation, it's on me. It's not on Philly, because I know Philly does work with Keep Sports and everything like that. So whatever I say about it is on me about this situation. So when you heard the bad OTA practice, throwing multiple picks and not really naming the source, and even though we were watching 2 days of media being at OTAs, do you believe any of this, or do you think this is for clicks, or do you think this is for?
No, I believe Derek Gunn. I think Derek Gunn is pretty good. He's been doing it a long time. I'm sure somebody came up to him and said, "This dude had a bad practice today." But it was one practice, right? It wasn't. Right. It wasn't all of Cam, and we had heard nothing but good things, And you don't know in practice, a situation like that. You don't know if he's working on something, maybe the way he throws, maybe his footwork, maybe he's trying to do something, and that's why he's off. It's like a pitcher. It's like when you watch pitchers like in spring training sometimes, and they're working on a specific pitch, and they get rocked. It's not really a big deal. People make it way bigger than it is. I think it was way bigger than it is, but I'm sure somebody said something to him. Maybe they wanted to say something to him. I don't put a lot of stock. I try not to get like too excited either way. I do get excited when I hear good things, but I try to keep it in perspective. OTAs, practice, that's when you should be throwing incompletions and stuff like that. I'm sure somebody told Derek Gunn that. And the reason I say is because Brooks, if you listen to that interview, Brooks said he's heard the same thing. Right. But I took it as one practice, one individual practice, So I didn't think it was a big deal.
I mean, I didn't think it was a big deal at the time. It was just that because like there were so many beat writers there, and look, we followed everything that was going on, and we didn't hear any of that. So it was just weird to me how all of this just came out of nowhere. And I feel like every time Hurts is talked about, and maybe you can agree with me on this, every time Hurts is talked about, even whether it's the media, whether it's on NFL Network or on TV when you flip the channel, okay, they're always talking about what Jalen Hurts can't do. Okay, and that's like they talk about the Eagles and how much improved they are from the draft, and how well A.J. Brown traded, and all this great stuff. Probably the number one most improved team in the NFL, but yet I really never hear good things about Jalen Hurts besides from Philly media or people that work for the Eagles or whatever or whatnot. It's always about what he can't do and what he can't, than what he can do. I don't know if you agree. With that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they had 6 OTAs. No mini camps, right? The only thing you see of Jalen Hurts is things they post a picture or something on Twitter or whatnot. They had out of those 6 OTAs, I think it was only 1 or 2 days they allowed media to watch. The one day they were talking about how great he looked and how much improved his deep ball was and his mechanics were. Okay, and then they were talking. He hit DeVonta Smith, and then he hit A.J. Brown. And then there was one day where they said that the timing was a little off between A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts. To me, we're talking about May. It's not a big deal. To me, it's a big deal in October, November, December, but of course their timing's not going to be perfect. I think all right, this could just be me. Okay. And I'm the first to admit that I don't know if Jalen Hurts is the guy or if he isn't the guy. I want him to be. I definitely want him to be. But I feel like there are people out there that I think there's a strong group, and it's not a lot of people, but there's a strong group of people that want him to fail so they can say, I told you so. Right. And so anytime anything that fits that narrative comes, it gets made and blown up. And just way overboard. I mean, I don't care that they threw incompletions in OTAs. Who knows what he's working on? You have no idea. So, and timing in OTAs, it gets established. I personally think they should have had mini camps. They should have had more OTAs. Yes. They should have done more. And then they're going to go into preseason and probably not play these guys. That's a bigger concern to me than anything else.
That's what I was going to ask, because You know for a fact they ain't playing. If they take these scrimmages into consideration that they're game-like, which they're not, for some positions they are. For the quarterback position, it's not, because even if the defensive line gets through the O-line and they just pass them and they let them throw every single pass, there's no game-like tackles. I mean, they're going to let Jalen Hurts throw every single pass when we have the joint practices with Miami. So that's – I don't want, and look, there's a big, if Hurts is sitting from the first preseason game, look how much time is left until the regular season.
Right.
Like, you could practice all you want. Like, look, I'm happy about the mentality of Jalen Hurts and what he's done, all those videos, and taking on these gruesome workouts with A.J. Brown, DeVonta Smith, and even Dallas Goedert and Zach Pascal and some of these other guys. Like, I mean, that's great, but live is live. Against another team is against another team. A person that doesn't know how you're going to play, that's where it's going to count the most. They're not going to play this guy during preseason. Maybe for a series, maybe that, if we even get that.
And the thing is I complained to that last year. We complained to that last year, and then they go and he looks great against Atlanta. So who knows? I don't know if Jalen Hurts is the guy or not. I hope he is. I fully admit I don't know. I need to see more, but I do. I feel like there's a small group. I don't know who just want to say, "See, I told you he wasn't the guy."
Right.
And anytime anything happens, that's all you hear. And I think that there's Dallas fans and Washington fans, and there's a loud group of them that are scared to death of the Eagles. And if he's good, we'll see what Jalen Hurts is. I don't know. I'm rooting for the kid, because if he's the guy, then I got 2 first-round picks coming up this offseason to use at a corner and another pass rusher, and let's get this thing going. So, I mean, that's kind of how I feel,
Because if Hurts is
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't either. Like, I hear, I'm looking. I like, there's some fans out there that are very optimistic. They think MVP season. They think he's going to play more well. I'm not even looking for him to play 10% better. I'm looking at him to jump for like 20 to 25% better than last year. Like a big stride. Not that he, played just a little tiny bit better. Like, I don't want to have a what if moment at the end of the season where me and you are going to be like, every video, every stream, is this guy going to get a contract? I mean, that's what I'm kind of looking for. Those 2 first-round picks are a big consideration from what we can do with this roster right now.
And it's interesting if you're going into contract, because I want to talk about this for a second, right? You've got what's his face?
Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray got $46.1 million a season. Okay, if Jalen Hurts puts up similar numbers, the Eagles have to pay him, because I don't think the Eagles can afford to say, we're going to wait one more season. Like, you see how Daniel Jones is going into the final year's contract. They didn't pick up his option. Well, after this season, based upon him being a second-round pick, we're talking about Jalen Hurts, he's open to an extension. He's allowed to get extended at the end of the year. They don't extend him, and he goes into the final season and is really good. Then now you're talking about having to franchise him, make him a top 3 quarterback. Not to mention how much money is going to cost to get a quarterback in a year from now, because you're going to have guys like Lamar Jackson get $50 million. It's going to happen. So you have to have a decision, I think, on Hurts this year.
Do you think there's actually a market for quarterbacks? Or do you think it's it's broken right now? Do you think it's like really broken?
No, I mean, a quarterback, the pays always go up. It's always going up. That's why people say, well, receivers are making $20 million. That's quarterback money. No, quarterback money is $45 million. We're going to be $50 as soon as Lamar Jackson gets his contract. And then what do you got to do with Josh Allen and Herbert? When all these guys get, the money's going to go way up. So I think the Eagles have to make a decision on him. If they're giving Jalen Hurts $30 million a year, he's not a good enough quarterback. Okay, so
what
you want him to make up $50 million a year? That's a good thing.
What gives Jalen Hurts a contract like that?
25 touchdowns, 4,000 yards passing, 13 receptions. I think that gets it done. And those are similar to Murray now. I think if he put those kind of numbers up, I would be okay with it too. I think if he throws 16 touchdowns and 12 interceptions, it's not going to cut it.
No, I'm hoping for that big jump. There's just so much on. It's a crappy situation for Jalen Hurts. It really is. After really just a year and a half of playing ball. You know what I mean? That's really it, a year and a half. I mean, you got a full year last year, 4 to 5 games in 2020. And, he got better at the end of 2021, but there's some consistency issues. And not just that, but this coaching staff's going to be another question mark too, because they kept everything the same this year. They're giving this another shot with the coaching staff, positional coaches, and both coordinators for this year. Are they going to do the right thing for Jalen Hurts in this offense? If your quarterback is struggling, are they going to help him out? Are they going to replicate or at least try to play design the right guys to get open for Jalen Hurts? You have A.J. Brown now. DeVonta Smith should have a monster year this year. There's really no excuse for Hurts to really have a down year this year.
Right. So let me say this, because I see there's people talking about what he needs to get the money. Kyler Murray just signed his contract. He threw 3,700 yards, 3,787 yards. So under 4,000 yards. He threw 24 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. And it got him $46.1 million a year. So that's why I say 4,000 yards and 25 touchdowns. Now, if he pulls out that, he may not get 50 million. He may get in the 40s. But, I think 25 touchdowns through the air, he's probably going to have another 7 to 10 touchdowns on the ground. So 30 total touchdowns. I think that's what we're looking at. That's what I think he needs, He's got to pass the eye test. But the thing is these quarterbacks are always going to make more money. I mean, Tannehill a couple years ago got $30 million. So he wasn't worth it at the time. I don't think he's worth it now.
But the first year he was with Tennessee, he was making like nothing. I mean, they had him for nothing the first year from Miami's contract that he already had with them. So,
I mean, you watch when guys like, I don't think Josh Allen has signed a contract extension yet.
No.
Herbert, Josh Allen. You watch when those guys are going to break the bank. Burrow. Okay. So, I expect Lamar Jackson probably going to get paid next, and it's probably going to be $50 million. And then we're all going to talk about how much he's making, and then somebody else is going to get extended. You're going to have 2-3 guys probably sign contracts, and it's going to go up each time.
It's going to be like the same moment where we were going to give Carson Wentz that new contract, and that was before I think Russell Wilson got signed to that big deal. We were sitting there like, thank God, like we would have been having to pay him a lot more,
Look at Patrick Mahomes a few years ago. Everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, look how much Mahomes!" Now he's like the fourth or fifth highest paid.
Yeah, what is it? Aaron Rodgers highest paid with 50? Was he getting paid 50?
I think
52, 51?
I think it's Rodgers. Yeah. So
something like that.
I mean, it's ridiculous. Yeah. And it's just going to cost you. Quarterbacks cost you money. So. If Jalen Hurts goes out and throws, I think 25 touchdowns, runs from another 5 to 10, close to 4,000 yards, I think he's going to get paid.
Yeah, and when you look at the roster going into next year as well, so say like you're going to have some free agents this year. You're going to have a few guys you're going to have to make decisions on. So aren't we kind of lucky right now that we're not paying a quarterback, that they have the choice to pay a quarterback? They're not locked in. We haven't gave out any crazy contracts that are really killing us right now. Okay, so I feel like we're lucky enough that the past 2 seasons we actually did really well, okay, building this roster. I mean, thank God we don't have to pay a quarterback because it's really hard to build a roster. I mean, you're supposed to build it. You're supposed to get the quarterback first, pay him, and then obviously, build around until he gets the contract, whatever the case may be. But we're kind of lucky these past 2 seasons now, these 2 off seasons where they've built a pretty good roster with, especially with the competition going into training camp. If you take a linebacker, and I say probably safety is probably the weakest position we have right now, as of right now, as a standstill. But when you pay a quarterback, do GMs have to go to the restructure role of restructuring guys nonstop, kicking the can down the road just to create cap space to acquire guys?
I sometimes I think initially because of the way they structure like the signing bonus and the way that the extension can be attached, they could get away with low salary cap hit for like a year or so. But eventually it catches up with you. You know, there's no question about it. But you've got guys like Fletcher Cox that will be gone. You know, Tart, Harris, they're on 1-year deals. Bradbury on a 1-year deal. So they'll be able to have money for it. You know, they may structure it in a way, right? Let's say that Hurts goes out and kills it and going to get an extension. Well, you know how they've done it before, where they extend it at the end, starting at the end of the new, you know, the other deal. So he plays the final year of his deal, then his extension kicks in, but they give him a bunch of upfront money. So there's ways to manipulate it, of course.
Right. Oh, we got super chat. Sorry, I'm about slow on the super chats. Lawrence Greer with the super chat. Thank you so much, man. He says, if it's one game that Jalen Hurts can't lose, it's week 9. He just got to win. He's just got to.
What's the
Cowboy?
week 9 game?
Not Cowboys. What game is that?
I don't know what week 9 is.
I don't know what week 9 is.
Yeah. Who's week 9? If it's, I don't think Dallas would be that early because that's a 20. They play Christmas Eve. That to me is a game they better friggin' win.
Is it Dallas, guys? Is it Dallas? I don't know. Just let us know.
I don't think it's Dallas. I have to look at the schedule. I have to pull the schedule
up. We got super chat from Ron Yancey. Thank you so much, man. He says it really sucks to know that Sanders could have an amazing year this season and not mean anything for his future with us. That really blows.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we're playing Houston week 9.
Okay, so, Texans.
Well, that's a Thursday night game on the road. Sometimes those struggle a little bit, but we should win. We should win.
Yeah. Because then following that is Carson Wentz is coming to the link, so you know that game's going to be definitely something to look forward to.
Oh yeah, look forward to him getting his ass kicked. That's what I look forward to. I want his face, man. I want to crush him.
You want it? You said you wanted him legless.
I want
him with no legs. No legs.
I do. I want him to have to go off the field like this. Brandon Graham's holding up his legs, going like this. Okay. Now, I mean, look, I know a lot of Eagle fans are like, he's going to suck, and I don't know if he's going to suck. I think Carson has potential still, so it's going to be interesting, you know. Yeah.
Oh, and there is 245 people in the chat. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining today. A few days into training camp. Season 2 of the Philly Shakedown has just started tonight.
Better call Saul.
Call Saul.
If you don't like this channel, you have a problem with us, better call Saul.
Right. Call 1-800. Definitely appreciate all the support we've had all year. It's a brand new year. We're going to have bigger, better things this year for the Philly Shakedown and a lot of content for you guys coming this year. So appreciate everybody. If you guys haven't subscribed to Philly 500, please subscribe to his channel. I couldn't put it in the description because it's not saving, so I've been putting the link out for his channel in the live chat throughout the stream. So if you guys can click on that, subscribe to the channel, would really appreciate it. And obviously subscribe to this channel. I like to stream if you guys haven't either. Both of us during the season, if you guys don't know, if are new here, we're going to be streaming twice a week. So we stream usually the night before the game, and we usually do a post game very late. It doesn't matter if it's a late game or whatnot. We're always doing 2 streams a week. So definitely check out both our streams. We stream the games every single week and all that great stuff. So don't want to miss any of it. And thank you for all the support this whole entire off season that we had.
Absolutely.
We had a lot of fun, especially the draft was so much fun because me and Philly have never really done working on the draft together like that, and it was different, but it was definitely a good time with those Matt Corral jerseys. So thank you.
Oh, good luck. They're coming back out next year.
You're not serious, right?
Oh, I am dead serious. I'm thinking of changing the back of the name. If we could put something on there like Shakedown Draft or something like that. Like, right. But that thing was such a good luck. It was good luck. What can I say?
It was.
Philly fan D says Saul Goodman might be the best character of all time. He might be. And big play slate, better call Saul. Okay? But did you see the last episode?
Yes.
I don't want to spoil for anybody, but the transition from Better Call Saul to Breaking Bad was fantastic.
It was great. It was really good. And if you watch some videos of actually what they've done in the Breaking Bad episodes of how people made some videos of how like some of the scenes from what Saul does in that episode relate to these this new show, not new show. It's been out for six seasons, but it should be cool. It should be a lot of fun. So
yeah, 4 episodes.
Yeah. So we could talk about obviously the new helmets. The new helmets. What do you think of the new alternative black helmets?
The helmets. I honestly thought they looked clean and they looked good in terms of going with the black jerseys. Like they had a kind of a metallic look. But it's not super like it's not super great in terms of like, oh, I have to rush out and go get a Eagles black helmet, I like that they've done something to change up things a little bit, but I mean, I'm ready for the Kelly Green. But I will say this: I do think the one thing that I think they should have done, and I've seen some mock-ups on this, is it would have been cool if the wings were black.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? That would have been really cool.
Yeah, there was a stock photo of like the wings kind of a little bit more black into the wings and like kind of made it different. I mean, they literally took the midnight green helmet and turned it black. I mean, that's really, at least if they maybe had a matte finish towards this, have that glittery
something.
Look.
Yeah, I mean, they could have done a little more, but I look at it like as like an appetizer for the dessert, for the main entree, and that's the Kelly Green. All right, Kelly Green's coming in a year, and that's all I care about. That's all I just want Kelly Green. I want DeVonta Smith jersey and Kelly Green. I want the old logo to come back. But I think that this is the beginning of the Eagles updating all of their jerseys. I do think that the midnight green will be updated too. I think that the word mark that kind of tells me there's changes coming.
Oh, the logo's getting changed too. Like it's gonna I feel like it's definitely gonna happen.
Thank God.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
An updated version of this, I'll take.
Would be awesome. Would be awesome. Since the the 90s. I mean, that's everyone's like, no, I don't want it to change, but it's old. It's getting really old now.
I mean, this word mark goes with the midnight green. If you look at the newer word marks, they kind of go better with the old throwbacks. To be honest with you, I saw on the Eagles website their shop. They had a Reggie White T-shirt, and they had the new word mark on it, and it was Kelly Green. And I thought that was kind of interesting. But it looked it didn't look bad,
Right? Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go. You're good. You're good. No,
All right. Good. So here's my other request.
Oh,
when they change things up and they change the jersey. See, and I could talk about this all day. But when they change the jerseys up, I want them to have 3 helmets. The black helmet to go with the black uniform. I want a green helmet, Kelly Green helmet to go with the home games. And I want the return of the white helmets on the road. That's what we need.
I saw one online and it was the black helmets with white jerseys, white pants, black number with a bright green outlining on the number, plus green outline on the black stripe on the pants, which would look pretty cool too.
Here, I'm gonna send you some stuff, right? I'm gonna send you
okay.
Some, right? You can put here's what like a white mock would look like. Let me see. I'll find this other one.
I like that.
I don't know if you could put that on that thing, but
let me just email it to myself quick.
And then, what about something like? And this is just these are mock-ups, but it just tells you how much they could actually change these jerseys, and there's so much they could do. What about something like this? Check. I mean, they could do a lot, and you could show everybody.
Let me put this one up.
But I mean, why not do stuff like that? That would be so damn cool.
I like that one. I like this next one. I really like.
I know.
It's really nice. So here's this one. That's cool.
That would be that's kind of cool. Like that, like an away jersey. I think that would look kind of cool.
Which the Eagles are probably not going to do any of this.
No, they won't do any of it. No. But I'm just saying, like there's so many possibilities out there. They're starting with the black helmets, then they're going to go to Kelly Green alternate. But I do think you're going to see an update of everything. It's just time.
All right, here's the next one. It's uploading. This one I really like. You guys probably don't like this.
I agree with Dad's deal. The wings need work, but it's just a mock-up. That looks cool as hell.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that a lot. That would be sick. Like is there one of their alternates? I think it would be cool.
Is that two Jets? Is that two Jets green for you, or do you think that's a good green?
No, because I don't view it as Jets green. To me, it's old time Eagles green.
Right.
But if you can make it work with, I'm not an artist, but there's so many different options that they have. But I just do. I really feel like they've had the same uniform since the 90s.
Yeah.
Since the 90s, it needs an update.
That's true. We got a super chat from Dave Edwards. Thank you so much, man. He says, "What up, gentlemen? Can't wait for the competition to begin. I am so stoked. Can't wait to get this thing started. I appreciate all the hard work you guys put in. Thank you."
Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Without you guys, we can't do what we do.
We thank you. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be an intense season. It's going to be nuts. We are going to kick Dallas's ass. We're kicking Washington's ass. We're kicking the Giants' ass. We're going to talk shit, and it's going to be fun. I told Joey earlier today, I ain't playing this year. We're going after all these mother humpers.
Yeah. And look, and I think come the season, we're going to be more critical of Jalen Hurts. And obviously, last year, beginning of the season, we really didn't, because technically it was like from 4 to 5 games in 2020 to 2021. He was still he was still as a rookie at that point. You know what I mean? It's, what I mean? So we didn't go crazy, but then by the end of the year, we're kind of like, okay, we need to see a little something. And we made the playoffs, which is great, which is a good thing. But we want to get past that, making it to the playoffs. We want to win a playoff game. We want to win the East. We didn't, win the East last year. So
no, to me, if we don't win this year, the division, that's a disappointment to me.
It is.
I'm going to say it right now. Sure, will I root for them in a wild card or whatever? Yeah, but I expect to win this division. I expect to be better than Dallas. I really think Dallas is in for a rude awakening. I do.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of teams. I think even getting AJ Brown now in this offense, and he's really become the embodiment of Philly. I don't know, like he's really shown to be that. I don't know. I'm not saying T.O.-esque, but he's got that pushback. I mean, like everyone talks shit about the team. Jalen Hurts, he puts his foot down. I love it.
I love it too. I think the first play of preseason, I think we go right back to the old when T.O. made his first appearance and go AJ Brown bomb just for the hell of it. First preseason game. I say let's do it. Just like T.O. But look, AJ Brown. I think he's a great addition. He's already been a great addition, but everybody's sleeping on my boy, DeVonta Smith. DeVonta Smith going off this year. I firmly believe that.
Yeah.
I read an article in Bleeding Green Nation. They said that he was targeted as like the 37th player in terms of targets towards him. So there was 37 players that got more attention than DeVonta Smith. I think that's ridiculous. They did not use him right. They did not use him enough. Yeah,
for what DeVonta Smith was given in this offense, I don't put it on DeVonta Smith for what he did. I mean, I think under 1,000 yards is disgusting and just you can't. He's got to be over that. I mean, at least Quez Watkins, he could have had 700 to 900 yards. I mean, probably more than that. Who knows all the missed targets that happened last year? And obviously, when you have a guy like DeVonta, look, do you think there's going to be a thing with just say the passing game is not working? Just say like there's issues in like it's connection issues. They're not on the same page. DeVonta Smith was a guy that went up to Nick or went up to Jalen Hurts, said, you got to get me the ball. Like, we have to do something. Like, AJ Brown is not going to take no shit, okay?
No.
If this offense ain't working, and these guys are, and they're selfish, like, they're not trying to say, give me the ball, I'm being selfish. They're just saying, if nothing's working, like, these guys are going to hold themselves accountable and hold the offense accountable as well. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, AJ Brown, the great thing about him is he's not he hasn't been a me guy. I mean, he's been playing on a team that is a run heavy based offense. So his opportunities have been limited. DeVonta Smith's opportunities have been limited. And I expect that to change. I think early on in the year, A.J. Brown gets a lot of the attention and DeVonta Smith gets off to a really good start. I think by the end of the year, it'll be a little more even, and then A.J. Brown will put up his numbers too. I think out of DeVonta Smith, Goddard, and A.J. Brown, I think 2 of the 3 get over 1,000 yards.
That's a really good year.
Yeah,
really, really good year. Well, what do you think? So my next thing is what do you think? Do you think Quez Watkins has a better year than he had last year? Do you think Quez as a number 3? No, I don't know. Let me backtrack. Let me rewind. What do you think of Quez Watkins and the whole Zach Pascal situation? Like, do you think Zach Pascal's going to be more situational?
That's
what I mean.
That's a great question. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. My hope is that Quez gets the opportunities because I think Quez is another guy. I think Quez had a pretty good year last year. I mean, second year, he took a big step. I want Quez in there, and I want to be able to put A.J. Brown at times in the slot myself. And I want him in the slot. Maybe he takes a 5-yard slant, 80 yards. You know what I'm saying? I want A.J. Brown in the slot at times and put Quez on the outside. I want to move all those guys around, man. I want to see much better, designs in terms of their route runnings and things that they do this year. And I want to move them all around. But I think right now, for me, going into the season, I look at Pascal as like the replacement to Whiteside as the 4th receiver.
True.
And Quez as the your deep threat guy. But I don't know what they're thinking, so we'll have to wait to see. They could like Pascal in 3rd down situations in the slot, right? He could be
or
like a Jason Avant type guy. So we'll have to see. But I want Quez. I want Quez getting snaps, man.
Yeah, he's got to keep playing. He's got to keep playing, especially being on the number 3 corner this year. He's just what he did last year. I mean, just with 2 drops and the opportunities that he had, and some passes that were inaccurate last year, he came and aggressively caught. I mean, there were some crucial 3rd downs last year. He really saved us on some drives.
Yeah, so, I mean, he only dropped. I think they said he only dropped 2 balls last year, right? Yeah. So, I thought Quez took a giant step, but he's such a deep threat. He's so fast that I want him on the field. Now, look, 3rd down situations, you need a 3rd and 4. You're going to put Pascal out there. Goal line situations, you want another red zone threat to go along with Goddard, who's a red zone threat. A.J. Brown, to me, who's a red zone threat. That's fine. But between the 20s, man, I got to have Quez out there.
Yeah.
We
got Stuart Chat from Radiation Bots. Thank you so much, man. He says, glad to see you guys again. Season
Thank you,
almost.
Man.
Oh, come on, see you.
Yes. Yep. 3 days we got camp. And then we're going to have to wait. Here's how it goes. This is how camp goes. You're excited the day camp starts, practice starts. As soon as the day 1 of practice done, you're dying for the preseason game. All you talk about is the preseason game. Then you get to week 1 of preseason. They play 1 drive, and you're ready for the season to start.
Right.
That's exactly how it goes,
Yeah, that's how it's going to go. And it'll be here before we know it, guys. It'll be here really quick.
I think the interesting part isn't Quez or Pascal. It's Reagor. What are they going to do with Jalen Reagor? Because I'm not convinced that he's going to be on this roster. Because how can you justify Reagor from what we've seen so far, making the money that he makes, being picked where he picked, and being what, the 5th wide receiver? He's not better than Quez Watkins, and he's not better than Pascal. I don't think he's better than Greg Ward. So how do you justify a guy like that being out there? See, I think what the Eagles are going to do, I think early in camp, you're going to hear that Reagor's in the slot. I think he's going to be the 3rd receiver. I think they're going to give him an opportunity because of where he was picked. It's a front office decision.
The Eagles have made sure that Jalen Reagor is not going to touch the field this year. Okay, you're not trading for A.J. Brown for no reason. You're not getting Zach Pascal for no reason. I don't care whether he's J. Jaw's replacement or not. Okay, whether the case may be true for that. They've gave J. Jaw a no-winning situation. They have gave Jalen Reagor a no situation on top of not even hitting the field this year. Okay, They've already covered their tracks to sign Britton Covey and Devon Allen for special teams. So they did their homework to make sure they have covered their tracks for both positions that he cannot play going into this year.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. Whiteside, he can't play because he's got 2 left feet for hands and he's slow. Right? He stinks, But I mean, when you look at Reagor, I mean, he's making, according to Over the Cap, he's making $3.6 million this year. That doesn't sound like a ton of money.
No.
But how are they going to feel about making him the 5th wide receiver? Because you have Greg Ward, who I think is better, making $965,000. Zeke McPherson, $825. That's Zeke, but like there's guys that have bigger upside.
Hightower could play in. I'd rather have Hightower coming off injury or being injured than have Jalen Reagor on this roster right now. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, we've been happy with Howie Roseman these last 2 off seasons, especially this off season. The final 53 is going to be where we're going to be like, okay, they're strictly moving on. They're finally going to move on from all the mistakes that they have made, whether it's Howie's fault, which I don't think it's Howie's fault 100% anymore. Obviously, he makes the pick. But I think there's been pushback within this front office. We've heard the rumors about Jeffrey Lurie moving back, taking a step back when Sirianni was hired. I think we start to see that, no Andy Weidel getting in the way. There's really nobody in the way. Howie Roseman took complete control, which we thought he took complete control this whole entire time. So I felt like the Eagles have covered their tracks on some of these bust picks. And I don't think Reagor is going to, look, his psyche is his worst enemy. And you have 2 of his best friends have died the past 2 years. He can't, and when he knows it's on him in a game, and before he catches the ball, he he closes his eyes catching the ball. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, it's when you're looking at your quarterback the whole entire time I just don't get it. Like, the opportunities he has had. I'm not saying that even if he caught that ball in that Giants game, we would have turned around and been like, oh, maybe he has.
You mean the ball where he closed his eyes? He closed his eyes. There's a picture of him going to catch the ball with his eyes closed.
Yeah, it's how do you keep there's just no way he gets a shot.
Well, no way. I agree with you. I don't want him to be the 3rd receiver, 4th receiver. I'm just thinking at it from a Howie's pride and the front office view. He's a 1st-round pick, and you're paying him $3.6 million at cap space this year. You have guys like Zach Pascal Pascal's $1.5 million. So, are we going to get in a situation where the front office pushes him? They pushed him last year. There were times where they were trying to get him more involved than DeVonta Smith. So I think the best case scenario is they got to trade or cut Reagor.
Yeah, but if they are pushing Howie Roseman and pushing the idea of giving, trying to justify Reagor this year, like, then why did they go out and get AJ Brown? Why did they sign Zach Pascal?
No, the coaching staff isn't pushing it. Howie's pushing it. The front office is pushing. Hey, play him. He's a 1st-round pick. He gets first dibs at the 3rd receiver. And you think
that he's still going to push the coaching staff to give him another shot, an opportunity?
I do.
You're crazy.
I think early on in camp, first day of camp, you're going to hear about 11 on 11s going or whatever. You're going to hear Reagor lined up as the 3rd receiver in a slot. That's a prediction. You watch. It won't last. He'll lose the spot. He'll lose it early. He may lose it by week 1. But to start camp, I think they're going to try to make Reagor the 3rd receiver. It's going to be a complete front office interference. My prediction.
But no, it's a good prediction. I totally respect it. But I respectfully say that I don't know. Okay. I just
you don't want it to happen. I don't want it to happen.
I don't even but I just don't think about that because I'm just like they've done so much. Like, we're gonna find out if this is the actual Howie Roseman we've been looking at the past couple off seasons.
All right,
when it comes
let
to
me
this
let me give you an example. Last year, Reagor played a lot, and we all knew Greg Ward was better. Yet he never saw the field. Why didn't he see the field? I don't think the coaches care. I think they play the best guy. I think decisions like that come from the front office, dude. I do.
I think Dougie P. Okay, I think Doug Peterson valued Greg Ward over what Nick Sirianni values him. I don't think they value Greg Ward the way Doug did.
He's better than Reagor, though.
But they don't see that. I don't know what. Then how are they not seeing that? That's what I'm trying to say.
Then we're in trouble. We're in trouble. If they don't see it, we are in trouble. I think they do see it. See, that's my point. Is I think that Nick Sirianni and the office, I think they do know Greg Ward's better, but because of the pressure of Howie and the front office trying to justify a first-round pick and how much he's getting paid, are making them play Reagor. That's why when we watch these games early on in the game, you're going, why are they so interested in getting Reagor going and they're not doing anything with DeVonta Smith?
Yeah, but I'm saying this, like, are they putting J-Jaw in, like, are they putting J-Jaw in a winning situation? They're not. They're putting him in a losing situation at tight end. That's a losing situation.
Yeah. I don't think he can make it. But that's what I'm saying. Once again, it's the front office trying to justify a second-round pick that they don't want to give up on. If they treat Whiteside like that as a second-round pick, how much more are they going to treat their first-round pick that they don't? Howie doesn't like to give up on his picks, man. He doesn't. I think Reagor gets the shot early in camp. That's my prediction. First day of camp of practice, Jalen Reagor will be lining up as a third.
Okay, that's fair. Let him line up, do it, and let him fail. I mean, whatever the case may be.
That will happen. That will happen. Yeah.
I mean, we remember last year. We remember when all the one-handed catches, and we got fooled. We got tricked.
Me right here. I was a sucker. Him, Ben Simmons. They screwed me up, man.
Who the hell is Ben Smith?
Ben Smith is an old Eagles cornerback. Used to play opposite Eric Allen. Fantastic. He got hurt. But I like Ben Smith, not Ben Simmons. But I used to do it with Ben Simmons, too. You see him on Twitter, Instagram, shooting three-pointers, going, oh, here it comes. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that with Reagor. I'm not doing it with him. I'm not doing anybody.
Yeah, so we're going to single out Reagor when it comes to the scrimmages and not believe a damn thing that happens. We're going to watch it. We're going to see it, but
I agree, B. Lewis. Why not justify Smitty? Smitty got he was targeted as like the 37th receiver last year. I mean, that's way too much. You watch Reagor, you watch DeVonta Smith the night that they wanted him to break the record to get him out for his couple.
Yeah,
they threw at him early. He caught everything. And then how many times have you watched I've watched all 22s every week. He's open a lot. And they don't throw to him.
Yeah, they go into a wild card game and throw them in the
third quarter. He gets third quarter his first pass. I mean, we've talked about that in nauseum last year. They got to start treating DeVonta Smith like the number one receiver he is, But, listen, here's the thing. Howie Roseman has final say on the last three spots of the roster. So he has final say for the last three spots. Do you know what that means? That means that he can say, it doesn't matter how this last final guys played. I'm worried about compensatory picks. I'm worried about money. I'm worried about that. And he's going to make decisions on that. That's what I worry about.
The more undrafted free agents or the more backups that actually show promise, the less we're going to see J-Jaw and Reagor at the beginning of this season. And I hope that's the case. Because I think Reagor is still a big release candidate this year. I feel like
I do too. A
huge release candidate.
I think so. Because I think if he's and this is kind of my point. If Reagor is the fourth or fifth receiver, they're going to cut him because they're not going to pay a guy $3.6 million or whatever it is to be on the roster. They're going to just cut him. I think right now after June 1st, let me see this. After June 1st, Reagor is Let's see if I can find him. Where are you, Reagor? Okay, so Reagor, if they cut Reagor, they would have to eat $2.4 million.
Okay.
So they would be in the hole $2.4 million. That could happen. That could happen.
Yeah, I can eat that up easily. I'm not worried about that. Yeah. I mean, compared to what we give it up for, like the Malik Jackson, Alshon Jeffrey contracts, and even Carson Wentz at this point. I mean, they could eat up 2.4 if that's the case.
And I think they will, because I don't think Reagor is better than Quez. I don't think he's better than Pascal, and I don't think he's better than Greg Ward Jr.
I think one of these other guys are going to shine. They might shine just enough to where they're not even going to make the team, but they're still going to look better, like Weedfall or Josh Hammond or whoever the hell's on this roster.
Greg Ward will get cut, and he will end up in Washington. And he'll end up in Washington with Carson. Watch. It'll happen.
Unbelievable.
Hey, maybe Reagor will be. Maybe Reagor will be really good this year. Maybe we'll be surprised.
Shut the hell up.
I mean, look, it does take 3 years for a receiver.
At least, and you look at other receivers, at least with Nelson Aguilar, okay, you got separation. You just got a guy that couldn't catch. You know, he's had a very up and down career so far, okay? Like, Reagor gets bullied off the line, can't get past the first line of defense, runs out of bounds, run inbounds, doesn't know where the ball is when he's catching it. I mean, I feel like every time he tries to catch the ball, he's like, oh shit, before he catches it.
He is.
That's how I feel about him. I mean, look, and there were some passes to Reagor last year that were underthrown where he could have had Reagor wide open, and you know there was some on Jalen Hurts, but nothing compared to what Reagor has done. Because if he's no other roster in the NFL with Reagor on it would have lasted 4 weeks. There's just no way he would have still been a starter. Like, what do other teams do with first-round pick receivers that don't pan out in 2 years? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, do they try to justify it for another year, or do they, you know?
I'm sure they try to justify it at first, too. I'm sure, I think what the Eagles did last year, I think a lot of teams would do that, you know. But the question is with all the upgrades this year, will they still do it? And that is a question I do have. I don't know.
Yeah. I totally get it, man. I totally get it. Anything else? Is there anything else that you've been dying to talk about since we haven't talked in a month? Is there anything that's been on your mind for?
Well, now that everybody knows that I'm a virgin that lives in my mom's basement. I just want to say thank you for all the support for all of you guys at home who live with your mom in the basement.
Who said that?
Oh, I had a lot of support. A lot of people reach out to me and said, "Hey, I'm sitting in my mom's basement in my underwear with a ham on my big belly." Thank you for admitting it. So it worked out pretty good, you know. My mom come down the basement and bring me dinner.
All right, well, we'll let you go. Make sure you have your dinner for tonight.
Yeah.
We got 255 in the chat. Much love to everybody that's in here. If you guys haven't subscribed to Philly 500, subscribe to Philly 500, the Philly Shakedown Season 2. We just started it today.
255 people? That's good.
Yeah, there was like 260. Actually, there was like 264. It dropped a little.
That's way more than I thought we'd get this time of year. But I mean, next week we're in camp. I mean, camp starts on Tuesday, right? They report on Tuesday. Was first practice probably Wednesday? So I mean, dude, once practice start, once they're there, it is football season. It is here.
Yeah, totally.
When's our first preseason game? By the way,
I don't even know.
I want to say it's August 12th. Yep, August 12th, 7:30 versus the Jets. So there you go. We start right away, man. August 12th is coming soon.
Yeah, the Jets always beat us in preseason. They can't beat us in the regular season, but
yeah, and then wait till week 3. JJ Arcega-Whiteside, I call it the Whiteside, well, the Umbrella Bowl. He'll have a great game and somehow manage to make the cut. We'll see. Do you think the Eagles will go out and sign another tight end?
No. I mean, they already have. They already have Richard Rodgers in the building too. On top of it,
he's hurt all the time.
I know, but I don't know. I I don't think so. I think they keep. Look, I like even with Jack Stahl. Like I feel like he's been more of a blocking tight end. I feel like he hasn't been the receiving game too much. Like I would like to see him in the receiving game just a little bit more. See what he could do. I think he got thrown a couple passes last year. Obviously, Tyree Jackson's going to be on the shelf, probably going to go from PUP to IR, and then Calcaterra is definitely one I'm actually a little excited for. We'll see what he does with the tight ends. I want to see Jordan Davis just do something. I want to see. I don't care if it's against starters or whatnot. Like I don't know where they're going to throw him in there. I just want to see Jordan Davis wreak havoc. Just to see a little sample size of how they're using him, and just like how we saw Mulata a few years ago. If you remember Mulata a couple years ago, we put him in against 4-string defensive ends, and he was just rocking them.
I say with his first 3 plays, one of his first 3 plays in preseason will be a tackle and a running back behind the line of scrimmage for a 2-yard loss. That's my thinking.
Could it could. Yes, it's exciting. But yeah, we got 244 in the chat. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't. Like the stream if you guys I do appreciate it. The Philly Shakedown going into season 2, because we don't know what episode it is. We're not talking about a season of a TV show, but just imagine it is.
Well, it's episode 1, season 2. Season 2, episode 1. And we'll remember that until we get to 10 or 12. Then we're too dumb. We'll forget.
Right.
Hey,
right.
You got a super.
Oh, I didn't see that. No, I didn't see that at all. Super chat from Mike Rippa. What's going on, man? So I want to see this 3-4 defense. Harris, Epps, Slade, Bradbury, Maddox, Reddick, Deans, White, Sweat, Big 3, Hargrave, or Graham, Davis, nose tackle, and then Cox.
Yeah, that could be interesting. I'm curious to see how they want to do that 3-4 and line those guys up. I mean, didn't Fletcher Cox kind of complain a little bit about playing defensive end last year? At times, I don't think he liked his role.
No, I mean, it was partially that and how Gannon, taking a shot at Gannon for how he was kind of being used on the screen against the screen game and stuff like that.
My big question is, and my biggest question for this team is Jonathan Gannon. He is my number one. What if? Will he be more aggressive defensively?
Give me an example of, with Jonathan Gannon's coaching, what you're expecting from a certain player. Like, give me a player that with specific stats that you need to happen defensively for that he should be at where he is with Gannon being the coordinator.
Who statistics?
Like anybody. Like you're looking at a player that that needs to produce with certain numbers. Like that.
So Hassan Reddick has to have double-digit sacks.
Yeah,
he's had double-digit sacks in Arizona. He's had double-digit sacks in Carolina. There's no reason why we shouldn't be able to use him in similar ways. So I think he has to have double-digit sacks. As a team, they have to get much better at getting to the quarterback and sacking. There's a lot of talk about they didn't have a lot of turnovers and things like that. That stuff changes once you start knocking quarterbacks on their ass. So to me, the biggest thing I have to see is Reddick double-digit sacks. I want to see Josh Sweat around 8 to 10 sacks, and I want this defense to be aggressive. I want them to get at the quarterback and not be afraid to blitz. If I see a quarterback have 85% completion percentage, Derek Carr was 34, 37 or something ridiculous, maybe even worse. You can't have that. To me, that's the biggest thing.
Do you know what quarterback last year was the highest completion percentage quarterback we faced last year?
If I had to guess, it's either Derek Carr or Herbert.
Herbert with 91%.
91%.
91.
I remember that game, and I remember I was going off in my stream because they had their white jerseys and white pants, I believe. And he had literally no grass stains on his shirt, on his pants, meaning that they never got to him.
Right.
That's inexcusable. That's inexcusable. They've got to change that. I mean, look, you got guys like Reddick. Reddick is a giant upgrade. And I think you also got linebackers now, like Nakobe Dean can blitz. So I want to see them blitz more, be more aggressive. Don't put your corners 8-10 yards back, please. And go get the quarterback. Go get at him,
Or I mean, put your corners back and the soft zone coverage where we're letting these receivers and tight ends off the line and getting pretty much free yards on us. I don't know if they, even though we can't believe just remember, guys, going to training camp and going to preseason, do not believe a thing these coaches are saying. Maybe if they talk about a player, believe it, but don't, when they talk about scheme, they're not going to give you anything. They don't want to give teams any blueprint of what the Eagles are doing this year. So definitely take that with a grain of salt going into all the press conferences and all that stuff.
I agree. I mean, I got to think they're going to be more aggressive this year. I do. But I just, even though they didn't have the personnel, because I know that was something they said, well, we didn't have the personnel last year. At some point, when you have a quarterback in the first half, it's like 25 of 28. At some point, you've got to take a chance and go at him or blitz or do something to get him off his game. And he didn't even attempt it. That's my biggest biggest question mark of this season, Jonathan Gannon.
Oh, here's another one. Why were we making the same? Like, look, you make adjustments in the second half of every football game all the time. Every team does it. We made literally the same adjustments. We had the same problems first half of every game. I'd say offensively and mostly defensively.
Defensively. And then they would adjust and be better in the second half. It always happened. Yeah.
So when you go to the next game, were you taking the mistakes from that first, the first half of the game you just played before? I feel like you're just replaying the same issues every single time.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be like that. And that's what really pisses me off. And then when they finally start blitzing, and sometimes when we even blitz, we still can't get through the line. Like, I don't know what the problem. I mean, it's the coaching. It's 100% the coaching.
Like if for some reason Reddick is not producing, to me, I'm willing to fire in season Jonathan Gannon. I really am.
Graham, Cox, Hargrave, and Reddick. I mean, I'm telling you right now, like, you should be generating pressure with that four right there. I mean, you should be generating. There's no excuse for it. And I'm not saying they shouldn't blitz. I'm not saying just because of that you shouldn't blitz. Because obviously with Jim Schwartz, like, he didn't like to, he didn't have to blitz. I mean, he was very good with this defensive line for a long time. That's what I have to see. The first thing about this defense I have to see is, can they generate pressure? Like, got to generate pressure.
That's the key. To me, that's the whole key to the whole defense. The Eagles' bread and butter for as long as I've been watching has always been their defensive line and their front and getting pressure. So, I mean, if they're not generating pressure, then you have to be able to blitz to help generate pressure. And if you're not blitzing, you're sitting there, you're letting the guys throw 85% or whatever, that's a big problem. I think I'm hopeful in a way that, he the things he said in his press conferences this offseason, well, we're not going to do much different, is all bullshit. And that he will, but he doesn't want to tell us.
Yeah. The position group we need to play strong last year, going into last year where the new defensive coordinator, was the cornerback position, which that was the highlight position of the year. Right. Compared to other years since the Super Bowl, we've always generated pressure, but we didn't make adjustments with the cornerback group. We didn't really have high tier corners. We've always had a good defensive line. We have a good defensive line that generates pressure nonstop. You could bandage up that secondary. You know what I mean? Like, kind of how Malcolm Jenkins moved around the field. We don't have that moving piece that bandages up certain positions. So going into last year, it was the complete opposite. The cornerback position was very strong and tough. The defensive line, it was really hard to watch us not generate any pressure, and we're not that type of team. We always generate pressure over the years. So there's got to be a big jump, and the adjustments have to get better, because I'm telling you right now, like, for certain games that have these high-profile wide receivers that you're going 8 to 10 yards off the line, and they literally have that much room. Like, he doesn't want to give up the big play. I totally understand that, but you're giving up big yards. Like, it doesn't. Right. Regardless, it doesn't matter. Like,
no. And it seemed like when they had more success defensively when they played man than when they played zone. It just seemed to work better. And you got Slay, Bradbury, and Avonte Maddox, right? Your three top corners. You got to let those guys play, and then you got a much better linebacking core than they had a year ago.
Oh man!
So they should be able to. They should be much improved. And like I said, I am firm believer of the blitz. I think that you need to be aggressive in today's NFL. I think you need to get at the quarterback. I think that's the only way to really take advantage or to neutralize the advantage that the NFL gives offenses to begin with. So, I hope that they're more aggressive. I think they're built to be aggressive. You look at their linebackers, Kaiser White, N'Kobe, like these guys should be able to blitz, man. You know, we're not talking about Nate Gary and and Baby Arm single, so we'll see.
Yeah, and I think with Gannon, like a lot of people say that Gannon's not on the hot seat this year, which I felt like Howie Roseman has done a lot. Like between from free agency to the draft, they did the complete opposite a little bit. We thought it was a more offensive in free agency, and then the draft would be more defensive. But I feel like, Howie Roseman pretty much served him this roster on a silver platter this year, and now it's really up to Jonathan Gannon. Like it's
I look at it like I look at Hurts. I think Howie got him everything he needed. So I think there's no excuse. There's no excuse for the guy. I don't think if he don't play, if they're not good this year defensively, I think he's gone.
True. I think both coordinators are definitely on the hot seat this year.
Look, Gannon may be going one way or the other, because if he's good, he may get a coaching job. People were looking at hiring him last year as a head coach, so he may be going either way. I don't know, but could happen.
Yeah, guys. But it's gonna be. We went a little bit longer today. We did like an hour and 20 minutes. I didn't realize we actually went over a lot, but
it's football season, baby. It's all good.
Because really during the weekends of these games, especially like when we have a couple of streams on the weekends, time's really not a factor. We're going to talk about everything we need to talk about and then some, especially from you guys as well. But 244, 243 in the chat right now. Appreciate everybody coming in. If you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. If you guys haven't, Philly 500, his link is in the chat. I've been putting it in the chat. Just put it in just now. Subscribe to his channel if you guys haven't. And the Philly Shakedown Season 2 has just arrived today, Episode 1, Season 2, and it's going to be a big year, and you guys have been loving the podcast. I think we had a really good first year of the podcast, and it's because of you guys of how successful it is, and you guys are with us every step of the way. You guys, obviously, whether we're right or wrong, we flip out, we're calm. It just depends, what we do all year, but we're ready for the season to start. Like I kind of want to get through training camp, get through preseason, and let this thing roll. So if you have anything to say, bro, anything.
I agree. I agree with Jay Koch. Gotta let your nuts hang. That's what I gotta say.
Yeah, right. We got super chat for TUI Eagles Fly. What's going on, man? He says, "Love you guys. Ready for the season."
Thank you, man.
Let's go. I appreciate it so much. Love you too, bro.
Yeah, you're probably going to get some meltdowns, New York Jets. I'm sure they're coming.
Yeah, probably.
First quarter versus Detroit. It'll happen. Derek Barnett jumps off sides. I lose.
Just one time. Just one time. It's all it's going to take.
All
it's going to take. All right, guys. Well, you guys have a fantastic night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we will be back on Philly 500's channel next Saturday.
And if you missed the show, if somebody out there missed the show, we will putting it out, some clips and stuff out for you.
Yes,
to catch up on it.
Yeah, we'll have separate clips on both channels. That's what we started doing. A month and a half. I forgot when we started, probably a month and a half ago, something like that. So definitely check those out. We'll be putting those out every single week of every stream that we do. So there's gonna be a lot of content on top of the videos that we make and live stream. It's gonna be crazy.
It's gonna be a crazy year. I'm ready. Let's go.
I'm ready to go.
Jay Koch knows. Let your nuts hang out. Let's go.
All right, guys. You guys have a fantastic day. Subscribe to both our channels if you guys haven't, and we'll see you on the next Philly Shakedown. Peace out, guys.